So guys, over in this tank here, we just did the mash. That's where we made the sugar, right?
Yep.
And then now over at this tank is where you ferment it. And this is where all the alcohol is made, right?
Correct, yeah. We'll pump our mash over into our ferment tanks. These are jacketed so we can adjust the temperatures and keep them consistent. And then we'll actually pitch our yeast. We use a dry whiskey yeast. It's an American style yeast that's formulated to make bourbon.
Great, great. So it's specific for bourbon. Just like we have specific beer yeast, specific wine yeasts. This one is formulated to make bourbon.
Yeah, it's specific for American style whiskey. So those flavors and the aromas that you get are consistent with American whiskey. It helps create those during the fermentation process.
All right. So it's sitting inside of here is basically kind of like beer. Can we taste it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically it's a grain in beer, really. So we do all our fermentation grain in. So it's almost kind of like an unfiltered beer.
We don't drink alone.
Wow. Yeah, very very light and
yeah,
cloudy,
light
huh?
has some those grain characteristics, some fruity characteristic because the yeast and everything is still in there.
Oh wow. Wow. This smell is very fruity. Almost has like a sake sort of aroma to it.
Yeah. So we're about this is about 7 days into our fermentation. It's just finishing fermentation. So the grain's starting to settle out, and what you have on top is basically kind of water and a low-proof beer, really.
Right, right. So how alcoholic is this? What's the strength of the alcohol?
Right around 8 to 10%.
8 to 10%. So it's like a strong light beer.
Strong beer, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Nice. That's great. So it's but it doesn't have any of the hops of beer. So it's very grainy. It's very light in texture. Very strong in alcohol. That really sticks out. It almost tastes a little bit sweet. Is there any sugar left over in here, or is that all just perception?
No, yeah, just perception. Some of that comes with the grain. Like I said, the yeast is still in there. Some of it comes with the aromas of the yeast. But yeah, no, all this, it's basically finished fermentation, so all those sugars are converted into alcohol.
It should be done at that point. It should be all gone.
Should be all done. And then what you'll do from here is you'll pump it over to the still, and then what happens there?
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll take our beer that we made here and we'll pump it over the still in small batches and then distill each one of the batches off. So during the distillation process, we'll remove all the alcohol from this, and what we're left with is the beer that doesn't have any alcohol and the distillate, which is a low-proof distillate.
Got a low-proof distillate, so how much alcohol at that point?
It depends what we're distilling. With bourbon, we're left with about 70%, or 70 to 80 proof is really what we're left with.
Got it. And proof, so 80 proof meaning 40% alcohol?
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Great. And man, this just, it smells and it tastes to me almost like cider, actually, at this point, like a hard cider. It's fruity,
Yeah,
light.
very similar. Almost, yeah. Like
almost a little bit sour.
Yeah, sour beer or kind of a cider, I guess, yeah.
Great. Well, thanks, guys. Cheers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
cheers.
cheers.